Square Enix came out with a new game, and the former Square Enix back in the day, anytime a game would come out by them, I'd be all over it day one. Couldn't wait to get my hands on it. The new Square Enix, I'm just like, man, I don't even know who this company is anymore and what they even stand for and the type of games that they're making and who the audience even is for these games. Their latest game, Killer Inn, just launched and it could not crack 1,000 concurrent players on Steam. That's really bad. At a live look, we are at 10 o'clock p.m. Pacific time right now. There are 344 concurrent players on a Square Enix game. That is insanity. That should never, ever happen in the history of any of their games. How the mighty have fallen. I've seen indie games that get zero marketing or anything beating this accidentally. And I'm not even talking about the mega hit or mega viral games. I'm just talking about just generic indie games getting 350 to 500 people. This is embarrassing for a company that is spiraling towards bankruptcy in Square Enix, firing the vast majority of their United States and EU teams. You'd like to think the reason why they were doing that is because they're getting back to the basics and going back to their formulas in Japan. And maybe this is the result of it, is they forced this game out the door just to go back to the basics. Maybe that's the case, but right now, I don't know. I'm just looking at this like, yikes. On top of the 319 in-game on the screenshot, 47.57% of the reviews out of 232 reviews, they're getting slammed. I said, Steam reviews are brutal. Many are saying Killer Inn barely functions as a social deduction game because no one talks, no region lock means constant high ping rubber banding, and it just turns into chaotic deathmatch. On top of that, people are slamming the unbalanced one-shot weapons, broken classes, and a $10 battle pass in a paid early access game. Good idea, terrible execution is the theme. And I screenshotted a couple of the reviews already on Steam. And these are with like a lot of hours. This one's got almost 40 hours on record. This one with almost 11 hours and an early access game. I said Square Enix never publicly gave sales targets or even talked about it much. But let's be real. A 24-player online-only social deduction game needs thousands of concurrent players, active voice communications, and streamer momentum to survive. That's just how this genre works. If it can't even break the 1,000 peak at launch, that's not early access growing pains. This game was cooked from inception. Who's greenlighting these ideas? And this is a quick look at the game in case you're not familiar with Killer. It already was getting a lot of downvotes on the IGN post, 1,800 upvotes to over 650 downvotes.
An ancient white castle deep in the mountains, lost to time and legend, undetectable by satellite, not found on any map. Only the chosen find their way here. Gathered from every corner of the earth, divided yet bound, wolves and lambs, engaged in a perilous dance of wits, a game where truth is but a shadow. Killer Inn is a murder mystery action game, an asymmetrical team battle steeped in blood and suspicion. A handful of killers lurk.
You know what kills me about this from Square Enix is like the talent, money, and ability that the studio has. And you see a game like this get made and it just feels wasted. It's like, why did you blow your load on that? The game that you pour the resources into. Once again, it goes back to the whole Concord style live service. We need to get a game where it forces more people to play together, because if we can get groups of people playing together, that means that they're going to get their friends to play. And they're going to feel like they're hooked on it because they have to keep going back to their friends, and their friends are playing it. And that way we lock them in for life playing this game, because that's how live service games have worked in the past. That's why these fail.
Among the horde of contestants, and the twist is, the killers lurk elusively in plain sight. Oh, hungry predators who could seal their fangs Hunt down the lambs and the prize is yours. O sacrificial children who serve as prey, unmask the wolves that prowl among you, slay them all, and the prize is yours. You must never forget, the hunter may become the hunted. Enough theatrics. I'll get to the point. Simply put, Killer Inn is an action-packed murder mystery, and remember, you don't know who's the killer. Kill someone, and a clue will remain. Hair, fingerprints, blood, clothes. Wolves can conceal clues left behind and act none the wiser as lambs. The lambs scramble to find clues, one step closer to unmasking the culprits. Who is guilty will eventually come to light, but you risk your life with every guess. It is forbidden for a lamb to harm another lamb. You wouldn't want to end up like this, would you? A flock of lambs united may best the wolves, but a lone hungry wolf could dominate the game. Lambs hunting wolves, wolves hunting lambs, 'tis a chaotic symphony of blood. One player falls, then another, and every time the prize money grows. Wolves win by killing every lamb. Lambs win by rooting out every wolf. Such simple rules. But there's so much more to this game of murderous mystery. Complete quests to level up, buy items with the gold you earn, loot check.
The idea, I guess, seems interesting enough, but I feel like it's too overcomplicated for what they were trying to establish with the premise. Like, keep it simple for a game like this, and it would probably be infinite fun. This would probably work if you had 24 people that are like hardcore into this game and know how it works and understand how to work, coordinate with each other and stuff like that. But for 24 random people jumping into the game, I don't see how that would ever work or function properly. I really don't.
For weapons and armor, trapped in the comfort of safe zones, steal items, blow up opponents, poison others, place traps, trust and doubt, doubt and trust. Saved by your prime suspect. Discover one of your own is a wolf. Is killing not to your taste? Then you'd better escape the castle. Now the paths to victory are clear. You would do well to remember, deceit and deduction are your strongest weapons in this game of life or death. Your invitation awaits.
Now think of all the effort and work, time, and money that went into the game, and ultimately all that came out of it are memes. Heels versus Babyface as ha 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 ha. This is one of the characters from Killer Inn. Bro, is that a dude? What happened? What happened to Square Enix? Quote tweeted by Bugle Daily. Make female video game characters attractive again. Man, I should probably do this with I had ChatGPT. I don't even know if it's a dude or a girl, though. I think it's a dude. But you know that's bad. Imagine if the characters looked like that. Think about it. It's not even that hard to do. Revenant says, Square Enix on their way to make some dog shit no one asked for. Quote tweeting Pirate Nation. Square Enix's new multiplayer title, Killer Inn, has launched. The game didn't even reach 1,000 concurrent players on Steam. It's so bad. It's so bad. This is comicbook.com. And they said Square Enix's controversial new game quietly launches in early access to mixed reviews. Many Square Enix fans were hoping to see something new from the publisher during the recent PlayStation State of Play, but there was not a whisper of Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3 or the rumored Kingdom Hearts remakes. In fact, Square Enix was entirely absent from the State of Play. This is all the more surprising, given that the publisher's new multiplayer mystery game, Killer Inn, just launched in early access on February 12th. You know what that tells me? They knew going into this launch that it was not going to do well. So they're not going to try to promote it with Sony at the State of Play. They're not going to try to put money into that and get that out. Just be like, quietly launch this game. Let it die. If it does somehow spark an amazing big rocket ship of a game, then great, we'll take it. But otherwise, they're already using this game as a write-off. They're just like, yeah, it's not going to do it. If you forgot that Killer Inn was a thing, I can't blame you. The murder mystery game was a surprising reveal during the 2025 Summer Game Fest. Fans didn't quite know what to make of it then, and it hasn't shown up in any major showcases or events since. Though Square Enix did announce the game's pending early access launch on YouTube a few weeks ago, word hasn't quite spread like you might expect. But on February 12th, Square Enix and Tactic Studios' Killer Inn hit early access on Steam, and so far, players seem about as perplexed by the title as they were when it was first revealed last year. That's not good. If a game strikes you as very overcomplicated and confusing and weird, and then you're like, okay, it's probably not that bad. Let me try it. And it's like, it's overcomplicated, confusing, and weird while you're playing it. You're like, why bother? Why should I do this? Murder Mystery Killer Inn is Square Enix's take on Werewolf meets Call of Duty. Fans most associate Square Enix with beloved JRPGs like Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts, so seeing the publisher reveal a murder mystery game in collaboration with Tactic Studios felt a bit random to many. Well, it's the same thing when they came out with the bubble blowing game. I'm like, Square Enix? The hell? It just, they were trying to jump on the Splatoon hit from Nintendo. They're like, we can do that too. We're a big enough studio to just copy another company that does something like this, and we'll just do it. The problem comes in, it's like, everything is either copied, live service, or both. None of these studios have any ability to make anything original anymore. It's so rare. And I think a big problem with that is because it costs so much to develop a game that they don't want to risk it on something that's new or different. And if they are going to risk it on something that's new or different, they better damn well make sure it's a live service game. So that way they can make sure they make money in the long run with it forever. So then it shoots you in the foot on both feet. Killer Inn's premise that could work well in a world of multiplayer online games. At its core, a virtual version of deception games like Mafia and Werewolf. Some players are wolves, secret murderers hidden along the lamps. Everyone else may be innocent, but that doesn't make the battle any less bloody, as Killer Inn is also kind of a shooter. Killer Inn pits players against one another with a small number of wolves battling out the lambs. That way, it's part murder mystery, part PvP third-person shooter / melee brawler. Players can collect weapons throughout the mansion, arming themselves to the battle that breaks out once the guessing game is over. Using immersive voice, I mean, again, that's a jarring contrast in gameplay from murder mystery to third-person action shooter. Using immersive voice chat, you can form alliances or taunt the other team. In theory, the game combines two beloved styles of play, but do shooters and games like Werewolf belong blended together? In early access, it seems like players are divided. Since Killer Inn launched on early access on February 12th, garnered only a little over 100 reviews. The game's relatively quiet launch has left it flying largely under the radar compared to other Square Enix titles. And that may be part by design, since the game is still in early access, with a full launch planned later this year. But those who have played the game so far can't quite agree. I got to be honest, what's going to change when it does a full launch later this year? Like, what's different about the game? Why should I care more about it then than I do now? As the mixed review rating on Steam suggests, Killer Inn players are divided. Some players say the shooter elements make it feel more like Call of Duty than murder mystery. Others note that the game will only work with an active player base, since it's hard to have social deduction game if no one is communicating. Still, plenty of reviewers say they've had fun with Killer Inn in early access. In particular, those who have left positive reviews say the clue finding mechanics are fun and that the overall gameplay loop is engaging. With Killer Inn early access, plenty of potential, of course, correct with early complaints. I don't know, though, because if it's just the problem is the gameplay type, you can't course correct with that. It's like the game is the game. I just don't know if those two concepts blend together to make a hit. Maybe if you do it right, maybe it's just weird to me. It's almost like desperation of we're out of ideas, so let's start blending existing ideas. However, it seems like the game might well be a blend of too many different types of genres to truly find a fan base. Mixing social deduction and Call of Duty is one of those ideas that sounds good in theory, but may prove tricky to pull off. It kind of does. Not going to lie, it doesn't sound bad in theory, but just watching the trailer and reading the reviews, I'm like, yeah, they overcomplicated a fun idea and tried to do too much with both things instead of keeping it very basic. The thing that makes a lot of these indie style games take off is the simplicity and the fun and replayability. And then the sneaky depth where it's like, it seems simple on the surface, but there's actually like a whole lot more going on underneath that is not initially revealed by the naked eye. You have to actually play the game and understand the mechanics to be like, oh, I can actually do this and compare this and pile this on with, I can do a whole lot more than I thought I could when I first started this game. Killer Inn is available on Steam Early Access. It normally costs $10 USD, but it launched with 10% off, so you can get it for $9. Are you going to try Killer Inn? Leave a comment below. Yeah, I'm curious if anyone's actually interested in this game. Personally, I don't have an interest in it. I really don't. When I first saw it, I'm just like, why? Why is this a thing? This doesn't excite me. The live service games do not excite me ever. Like big group games online do not excite me. What excites me is single player experiences or sometimes combined multiplayer experiences. You can, if you do them right, they can be really fun. But if you premise your game on, we need to get a whole lot of people playing in this party every single time for that to be the gameplay loop, you're going to have a lot of problems. Maybe there's money to be made there, but I wouldn't be risking my business on that kind of thing. And I think a lot of it goes back to Sony, actually, when they were like, oh, yeah, people aren't playing single player games anymore. This was years ago when they were saying that. And they started going to live service and doing like, what was it, 12 live service games? And they cut it down to 6, something like that. And I told them at the time, I'm like, what are you doing? Who are the tards that are up high in these positions at these companies that are making these decisions? Because no, you're wasting so much money. Maybe that's a natural evolution of the video game industry, though, where it's just become overbloated and they had so much money. They made so much money with all the games that they were doing it right. Then they just started being drunk with the money and being stupid with it. And now here we are. I don't know. All I know is that if Square Enix is going to be making a game, bro, go back to the well again. Do what you're good at. JRPGs, just keep them coming. Can't get enough of them. Let's fucking go. I would love something to do with Chrono Trigger. I would love more to do with Secret of Mana. I would love any of that stuff. Hell, even Final Fantasy VII Part 3, I am excited about. I am. Like, that's where your bread and butter is. They keep trying to break away from where people fell in love with them, and they keep falling flat on their face over and over and over again. I don't know what to tell them except for, please stop wasting your resources on bullshit that no one's going to buy. I beg you. Time to play Dragon Quest or Lunar. I know. I got to get to Dragon Quest too. That's the other problem that they're running into right now is it used to be a smaller company where they could put out a game every couple of years and it was fine. And the games took a couple of years to play and you'd beat them and there'd be a new one coming out. Now it's like, oh, we got investors and shareholders and every quarter we need to make XYZ profits and we need to make sure this is out there and that. And like, maybe that works on a grander scale, maybe. But when it comes to Square Enix, I'm like, just make the game, make it great, and focus on that. I will say a hidden talent from Square Enix that no one really talks about. They have incredible paraphernalia, swag, shop items, their brands, their statues, their records. I've bought many vinyls from them, and they're amazing. It's awesome stuff that they sell outside of gaming. But yeah, that's Square Enix. I don't know if they're going to be around much longer, guys. Like, obviously they're not going away like next year, but like, I'm talking like a decade from now, will Square Enix still be around?